Hi, loves. Welcome to a new episode of the AW Confidential Podcast. I'm joined today by a familiar face. Avani B is here to help me dissect summer love. Summer's almost over, Labor Day is upon us, and I wanted to talk a little bit about our pop culture summer obsession. Do any of you watch The Summer I Turned Pretty? It's a Prime Video hit and it is on fire. And so are the
Oh God.
fans. Whether you're on Jeremiah or Conrad's team, you know that summer love is just getting heated on the show. The Summer I Turned Pretty is the kind of summer love that wrecks your vacation, your mascara, and your sense of self. Today, we're diving into the messiest, most binge worthy love triangles on television.
Hmm.
But don't worry, this convo isn't just for fans of the show, it's also for anyone who's ever lost themselves in someone else. Ladies, even some gentlemen have confused obsession with romance or sacrificed their truth just to be loved. Because at the end of the day, don't we all just want to be loved? Jeremiah, Conrad, and Belly might be fictional, but the drama is real love. Let's unpack the chaos, the sunburns, the soul wounds included. Dare I say, what about that scene with the peach? We got to talk about that. So, are you Team Jeremiah or Team Conrad? No matter what team you're on today, we're going to heat it up a little more for you. Hi, Avani B.
I damn, that was a good intro. You
I am a
ate.
I'm obsessed. I am obsessed.
Child.
I thought Love Island was the shit this summer, but
When I
I
tell you,
I
I
gotta
done
turn the
forgot
page.
about ever since this show started, I done forgot about Love Island at this point.
And that
Like
reunion left us a little bit deflated. But we're not
that
gonna talk
reunion and
about that
everything that's
today.
coming from after. But
I know.
anyways,
So, this is the last season of The Summer I Turned Pretty,
oh,
and I am savoring every single freaking episode. I
child,
mean,
they did good this season.
I gotta
Like,
tell you,
oh
I
my
have been
God.
through, as you know, I have been through some shit this summer. I'm still recuperating, but I want to start with, I'm gonna like jump all around because there's so
Oh,
much.
that's
I
fine.
want
It's loaded.
I want to start with Paris because you and I went to Paris.
Yes.
We love Paris. It
I have a
is
lot to say about Paris.
honestly, would you ever cancel or turn down a trip to Paris for a guy, a girl, anyone for that matter? Would you? Because I know I wouldn't.
No, no, and it's not even just because I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like, no, it's also like, especially when you think about where Belly's at. Like, she's still finishing up college, right? She's going into her last year. She's always wanted to do a study abroad. First of all, I think you gotta when okay. When you look at it from the perspective of if that person is right for you, they would never tell you to not do something that they know you want to do. And the fact that he was so easy, like so quick to be like, "Oh, thank God you're not going because I didn't want you to go anyways." I'm like, "Girl, first of all, that shouldn't even have been a part of the conversation. You should have gone. You shouldn't have said no to your dream trip because of your super senior boyfriend. And there's nothing wrong with being a super senior. But I think the thing is, in his case, is knowing that he's in that position because of himself, because he put himself there. And for her to not do something she's always wanted to do because she doesn't want to leave him alone.
I mean, let's get real. Would you? And you're younger, and you're just
Well, I mean,
starting.
essentially, Belly
Oh,
and I are the
oh,
same age when I look at
oh,
it
that's
from that
right.
perspective. Yeah.
That's true. Good point. That's a good point. Thank you. So, would you ever like I know I'm going to be honest here, truth bomb. I have put my I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I have put my life on hold for love. I've put it on pause for love because at the end of the day, I'm in love with love. I've been a romantic. I used to think that love meant sacrifice. As I've gotten older, yes, it's been 5 decades. I've stopped romanticizing I've stopped romanticizing sacrifice because it it always means giving up something that I believe in, something I love, something I want, something I need. So I could honestly say that at this point of my life, I would not put my life on pause for love. But being that
That's
you're
fair.
like Belly's age and you are an old soul, I gotta say. But but would you like realistically, did you ever think about putting yourself or your life on pause for love?
No.
That was easy.
No, because I don't know. I really come from it from the perspective of if I'm with the person that I'm supposed to be with, they would never allow me to do that. Especially if they knew that it's something that I wanted
Ooh!
to do, and if they knew that it was something that was good for me.
That was a
Like,
gem. That was a gem. Thank you for
well,
sharing.
even think about when I did go to Paris, even though it was only a week. I,
That's right. But
relationship,
he was
yeah,
so supportive.
and it was,
He was rooting you on, giving you tips because he's been there. Like it was so awesome to see.
and I
He
also
even
knew that
called
if it wasn't because
me.
of timing, he would have gone with me too.
And he
So
even
like,
called me and he was
yeah,
like, "She's gonna be," because I was freaking out. You were
I
alone
know.
for a couple of days. He was like, "Don't worry, she's smart. She got this." I gave her some tip. Like he was just so pro Paris. And I love
And
that.
he was the same one that came to pick me up from the airport.
I love it. I
So
love
like,
it.
but I think that's the thing is that like it when when I look at Belly, especially given that sure I wasn't there for a whole semester, I was only there for a week, but it's that idea of like going back to what you said about like the sacrifice. I think sacrifice obviously it's something it's going to happen in relationships anyway. But
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with that version of it was the fact that he was never willing to sacrifice anything for her. And mind you,
I wouldn't even say sacrifice because I feel like when you sacrifice, you are going against your maybe a belief, a value system, your ethics, or what you need. I would say compromise because a
okay,
relationship
yeah.
is a give and take, it's a compromise. But
Mhm.
sacrifice, no. You shouldn't have to
No,
sacrifice
I
who
think
you are.
everyone I no, not who you are, definitely not. But I think every once in a while, and I think it's that's when like it blurs the lines a little bit between sacrifice and compromise. Because in a sense, I think compromise is a version of sacrificing something. It's you sacrificing, okay, I'm not going to do this time so that we can do this, but that means the next time you sacrifice what you want to do so that we can do something that I want to do.
But
And
is
if you
that
look at it, but the thing is, and I say that only because when you look at it from the perspective of what happened after she gave up Paris and what he did after that. He took a job with his dad, didn't tell her anything, was gonna live in Boston, and I promise you the only reason why he claimed he was gonna commute back and forth between where Finch was and where his dad like he was going to commute all the time was because she brought it up. Because I do not believe that had she not asked him when, when his dad came up to them at the rehearsal dinner was like, "Oh, like you made a right decision by working for blah blah blah," and she asked him about it. I think had she not found out in that moment, she would have been shit out of luck and she would have found out the day before everything started.
I
Because
I
he
think
doesn't like to talk.
my issue right now as a female is I see Belly like she's with Jeremiah, she's very like passive, insecure.
She's
She's
his sh
codependent, which
I
we're
but the thing is that she acts like she's his mom. He has rather than her being a girlfriend or a fiance, she is his mom.
Ooh.
She that and that it's
Well,
true, like,
that's part of their bond too. It's like
yeah, well,
I think, and I almost think like there's a sense of, I don't know if it's guilt or attachment, I'm not sure, because of the mom. I think
I think
that's a
so.
little more, that's what I've noticed, but then with Conrad, she's this confident, grounded, and she's emotionally present, and you know what I mean? Like with
Yeah.
Jeremiah, she's almost like, it's almost like she turns off her emotions a little bit, I
Yeah.
think.
But I
And
think
with
that's the thing.
Conrad, she's like, "No. No," like she argues her point, and she's
Mhm.
like more empowered. It feels like she's herself.
It's because I think it's because of that comfort level that she has with one versus the other. I think with Conrad, he's very I know obviously he has the things that he needs to work on, like, but he's also very confident in himself to an extent, and
Yeah.
he creates a space for her where he challenges her. He
Yeah.
he pushes her to be her best all the time. Like, it doesn't matter, like, even when you look at things as small and like stupid as they may be, as when she first got to the summer house and it was just them, and she was gonna eat a Pop Tart, and instead he made her chicken. And he like, even though it's so stupid, like, when you look at that in comparison to the fact that Jeremiah was like, "It's fine, we'll just eat ramen." It's like Jeremiah does the absolute bare minimum for her, and so it's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna sit and be confident in myself and in my emotions," when he doesn't do that either. Like, Jeremiah functions on what Jeremiah wants, and she
Oh,
functions on what
100%.
Jeremiah wants. Conrad functions on, sure, what Conrad wants, but also what Belly wants. He thinks about the both of them. There's nothing,
100%.
even looking at the fact that, like, that man didn't want to be part of this wedding. He didn't even want to be there, but he still fixed that entire house just for her.
But remember when Jeremiah couldn't show up, um, for like to help her with the prepping and the buying of the
That man,
flowers and
he
running
wasn't there
around
for
for the
any of it.
taste, for the
And then
cakes,
what was
and
the first thing he did when Daddy said that he'll pay for it? He gave it all. He
well,
was
he
like,
wanted
"Oh, go ahead."
his raspberry chocolate cake or something. That was like, what?
Don't even get me started about that God's damn chocolate cake, because there has been I have been pissed off a lot this season, but nothing has gotten me more pissed off than that damn raspberry cake or chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever,
It sound it
cacao,
sound
raspberry
it's
coulis cake.
it sounded good though. I love raspberry coulis, can't lie. But
It sounds
anyway,
great until you realize that it's him being the bridezilla. That girl didn't care about no damn cake. She was like,
well,
"Fuck
that's
it,
not
take your
that
cake."
was not her wedding. That was his wedding.
Yeah, in every well,
So,
his and his dad's.
and his dad's, yeah. So we can, and I, like I said, I'm being honest here. We can be a watered down version of ourselves, or we can choose someone who brings us into like full bloom, which is what's happening here. It's
Yeah.
two different versions of Belly. Can you see a time like when this could happen to you? Because I know I've done it, and you betray yourself. Like in every way, shape, and form, you betray yourself. So who, like for example, would you choose to own who you are and maybe walk away, or kind of, you know, blow up your blow up your life, or stay in the comfortable, because that's what she's doing. She's staying in the comfortable zone,
Yeah,
that
but
comfort zone.
I think the issue with it, like, she's staying in the comfort zone not because she wants to, but because she feels like she has to. Because
Mm.
at the end of the day, when we still look at all of this, she's still sitting in delusion that she doesn't love Conrad. And until she's open and honest with herself about that, and like obviously yesterday's episode, we did see that come through a lot more. I realized it, not realized it, I've always known, but I saw it 100% the moment that her Laurel gave her that letter from Susanna and she didn't open it. Because I sat there and,
I didn't get that
I
part, why she didn't open it.
because she knew deep down that was not her wedding day. She knew. Think about it in this like in this perspective.
Oh, just got
If
chills.
it's we know what Susanna meant to her, right? We know that Susanna was she was another mom to her, quite literally. In the most literal sense, she probably was on more or less the same level that her own mom was, right? So we saw how deeply it hurt her when Susanna died. Susanna was one of the people that she respected the most in this world. Do you think if she knew 100% that she should have been marrying Jeremiah, that she wouldn't have opened that letter? I figured if like I thought about it and I was like, okay, if it was me and your absolute best friend that I grew up with that was like another mom to me passed and she wrote me a letter for my wedding day. You think that the moment you gave me that letter and told me that it was from her, I wouldn't tear that thing open,
Yeah, that's true.
especially if I knew that it was what I was supposed to be doing. The only reason I wouldn't open that letter is if I knew deep down that I was not supposed to be doing what I was doing. And
That's true.
like I also like I know Laurel gave it to her because she was like, "You're gonna do this anyway, so I have to give it to you because of Susanna." But I
This
know for a fact she wouldn't have given it to her if not. Like if she gave it to her, like if she would have given it to her, like let's say her and Jeremiah got married and divorced, and then she was engaged again later on in life, and she gave it to her that day, Belly would have gotten pissed off and would have been like, "Well, why didn't you give it to me when I married Jeremiah?" But
mm, well,
I think Laurel knew
I
as
think
well
so.
that
I mean,
moms know.
that conversation with her and Conrad, I was like, she knows. I think she
She
knows.
knew. I want to say even going back all the way to the peaches. And technically, no, actually,
Oh,
I
that's
lied.
right. When
She
he went
technically
to
knew again when Christmas
when
came around. I think she's always had it in her mind subconsciously, but it wasn't until Christmas that it was like what Jeremiah said, like that it started again for her. And like where it kicked into full gear. But it wasn't I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it was she was never she stopped loving that man during those 3 years or whatever that she was with Jeremiah. No.
yeah. So I think looking like while I'm because obviously I kind of go back into my mental Rolodex as I'm watching the show. And like I said, I've been belly at that age and I remember and even after that. um, but I think one of the things that we have to ask ourselves when we're in a relationship is, do I like myself when I'm with this person? And I've never asked myself that. And now go like just reflecting and like, you know, as I watched this show, I was like, I never asked myself that, but I did last night when I saw that the latest episode and I was
Hmm.
like going through all the different relationships and I was like, I have some questions for myself. I'm like, because now that I think about it now and now is when I most like myself. Of course, I I've had moments when I liked myself in the relationship. It's not like I didn't. But there was a lot of things that maybe I could say I said yes to that I really wanted to say no to and that I and it wasn't things like, oh, should I, you know, eat something I don't like. It was more serious things like,
Yeah.
that person's asking me to do something and I it goes against what I believe. So I think that's a question that we should be asking ourselves. Do I
Hmm.
like who I'm with when I'm with this person? Do you find did you ever ask yourself that? Because I just realized it.
Um,
It's a good
maybe not
question.
maybe not consciously, but like I think I've always been very conscious of like, okay, the things that I'm doing, does this feel like who I am, or does this feel
Mm.
like someone else or what someone else wants me to do? And I don't know, I like to sit and reflect every once in a while, like just to keep myself in check, because you got
No,
to
you
do,
should. 100%. You
you
have
are
to.
your own pit crew. And so just saying,
I
like
like
you
that.
are
That's a
your
good one.
own pit crew. And so like
Hey, Avani.
realistically speaking, like no one else is gonna check your tires but you. If you know what I mean. Like
I like
so
that.
you have to be like you have to be on top of yourself because at the end of the day, you could be with somebody for 10, 15 years And it's not gonna matter because at the end they could know you for 10, 15 years, but they're not gonna know you as well as you do. And they're not gonna know what you're thinking mentally. And if you're not doing check-ins with yourself, like,
And the other thing
who are
is
you lying
that
to?
over time, we change because the person I was at your age and the person I am now, I wish I was you at that age. Like
Look,
you, I
although
mean,
some people don't think you could change in a month, you definitely can.
oh, do the work. Oh, okay. No, I'm not going there. But anyway, keep it moving. Um, stop.
I'm just saying. Well,
Barbara.
even if you look at it technically, no, no, no. I'm
No.
gonna I'm gonna tie this into the show. I'm gonna tie this into the show.
Okay.
Even when you think about like, cause we haven't spoken about it yet, and I gotta make sure it gets brought up at least once. When you look at when we go back to the Christmas part of this whole season, and the fact that Jeremiah knew about Christmas, that tells you he purposely picked a fight with Belly, and he went into Cabo with the intentions of doing wrong.
You think? I'm not.
I do. I genuinely because he was so angry at that idea and like at everything
Oh,
that
it is.
happened that and
Oh.
somebody brought up a good point on TikTok. And it was during so not yesterday's episode. I think it was yeah, last week's episode when Belly and Conrad had that conversation um on the beach. What was the first thing that Conrad said about when Jelly when Belly when Belly mentioned that Jeremiah would not be coming to the beach? He says, "Oh, I see good old Jer still can't handle his liquor, right?" So,
Um,
and if especially if you look at the fact at what Redbird said, Jeremiah had thrown up what 3 times since that first time that he threw up at that bar, right? Super drunk, can't even function, can't even make it to the beach to meet up with this girl, right? If that is the case, and he claims that he was super drunk when he hooked up with Lacey, right? How would he have been able to have sex with this girl if he was too drunk to function to even meet up with his own on the beach?
mm.
He wouldn't have been that drunk. He probably would have been closer
Damn,
to sober
Detective
if
AK.
no, this one it wasn't even me. But when I really started thinking about it and I was like, y'all are dead right. He wouldn't have been drunk. Especially looking at that image of how drunk he was, he couldn't even get up the stairs without 3 other people. How would
Mm,
he have been drunk enough to lock the door and have sex with someone, what, twice? That
yeah.
wouldn't have worked because he would have been passed out,
Mm,
if not throwing up, then passing out on multiple occasions if he was that drunk. So that's for me solidifies the idea of like, he knew what he wanted to do going into Cabo, and that's why he picked that fight. That's why and he has an issue with like when he gets mad at her, he uses Conrad against her. And
yeah.
that's exactly what he did during that
He's
conversation.
very immature. He's very immature. I
But
just
that's
all
but that's
around.
why so some
It's
people
all
may hate
around.
me for this, but I don't feel bad for him with how everything went down because he always knew since the day they got together when they were making out on his brother's car at that if at what was it, Finch Brown, wherever
Oh yeah, I
Conrad
remember.
was.
Yeah.
He knew since that day, and technically that entire trip or the entirety of season 2, he had already known for Belly it was always gonna be Conrad. He knew that going into that. He knew it before that. So he's that whole
Well,
shocked thing.
she's the prize for him.
She's a prize,
Yeah.
but it's not even in the way of like, oh wow, it's because you're an amazing person. It's because I don't want you to be with my brother.
Yeah.
his he I have no doubt that they have love for each other, but I think it's always been in the way of a friend. And I think that's why, especially from her, we always hear if she says like, "Oh, she says I'm marrying my best friend,
My
but she
best
never
friend.
calls him anything but a best friend. We never hear her call him her partner, her like not her other half per se, but like, things like that that are more than just a best friend. Not saying that, oh, the person that you're with shouldn't be like your best
Your
friend,
best friend, yeah.
but that shouldn't be the
It shouldn't
only
be.
way that you address them as your
That's
best friend.
fair. That's fair.
And what do we hear from him? He's always addressing her as, what is it? Like her lifeline, like things that he needs. And it's
Yeah.
exactly, it goes against what
It's like a
she told
security
Conrad.
blanket.
Yeah, that's exactly what she is. And that goes against what she told Conrad in at the end of season one of, when he admitted that he was in love with her, or I guess not by her, recollection, but when he admitted that he had feelings for her, what does she say? She says, I don't want to be needed by you. I want to be wanted by you. And then she ends up
Mm.
with the brother who he doesn't want her, he needs her because he
Like
cannot
literally.
function. Literally.
Literally.
She couldn't even tell him the good news of her getting the study abroad trip. Why? Because he was sitting bitching and moaning about the fact that he was getting held back
Yeah.
by his doing because he couldn't check an email.
But like when I look at so I because I want to go back to Belly, like she's two different people with she is two different people. She's one person when she's with Conrad, one person when she's with Jeremiah. Have you ever found yourself in that pickle? You're I know
Yeah,
like
probably.
I've camouflaged myself to fit in to the
Yeah,
relationship. And I think a
I
lot of us do that.
yeah, I think so. I think you tend to only show certain parts of yourself when you're with certain people, and that goes beyond just like like relationship. That goes
Even
into
friends,
friendships too.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like who you are with one friend group is not who you are with another. Like
You
my
know,
best friend of like
I've
what, almost 10 years, we are unhinged, but that's not the same energy that I'll bring to someone else that I've just met, or like someone that maybe I'm comfortable with them and I've known them for a few years, but like they haven't
different
seen me in all the
energy.
different lights, so I'm not gonna show them all the unhinged, crazy, insane parts that I'm gonna show with my best friend of 10 years, who knows
Mhm.
me and who like we bounce off of each other. Like it's just you're always gonna be different people depending on the friend group that you're with. But again, I think this comes back to like if you are with the right person, you are gonna be all of those versions of yourself with that person. And like
Oh.
and I think
So
we
what
see that more when she's with Conrad. However, I think she needs to go to Paris and learn herself and grow within like into herself. So because the biggest issue I think that we see of her, the reason why she hasn't accepted that she's in love with him is she's too insecure. She's too insecure to be with him right now. And she can't accept the fact that that man will do anything for that girl. And
mm,
she's so stuck in herself that she can't grasp that idea of
well, that's
he
23
does
for
love her
you.
that much.
So cute. Ah! So wait, so
No, that's
what no, you're right, not 23
she's
because
no,
you're
but
not but you're not
she's technically what, 20, 21, going 22, I think.
oh geez, okay. Oh, that's
I
right.
think yeah, because
She
she
hasn't
just had her
finished.
21st, right?
I forgot. You're right. When she
Yeah.
had the
Okay,
drinks.
yeah.
Yeah, the shots. So, what version of you shows up when you're in a safe space versus when you're in a place where you feel like insecure and you don't feel like grounded? Like, do you know the
Child,
difference?
I had I thought about it as you were speaking, and the thought that I had brought me to another thought, and I think these two correlate really well. I think when you are with the right person and with someone who makes you feel secure in yourself and like you
Well, only
feel
you can make yourself feel
no,
secure,
no,
but
no, but like no,
I
no,
do
no,
know
but
what you
you
mean by
feel
secure,
secure
yeah, in the
being with that person.
relationship. Yeah.
I think your inner child comes out a lot more. I think your inner child feels comfortable.
Damn.
And thank you. But wait, there's more.
There's
And
more.
I
Shit.
because
That's a mic
because
drop.
when I know, I think your inner child feels comfortable to come out with this person, right? And you bring out their inner child as well. When we look at all the flashbacks that we've been getting
I'm falling
recently,
in love with you
of
all over
anything,
again.
oh my God, thank you. But of anything that has to do with, especially with Conrad, what flashbacks do we see? They're all of them when they are kids.
I'm gonna cry
When I
right
know I didn't think about I literally I swear to you, I didn't think about this until right now. when and that tells me at least that when she is with Conrad, she thinks about her inner child because that's it feels
He
most
made her
comfortable
f
with him.
he made her feel
She feels
safe.
safe with him, and
Mm,
she's always
I
felt
just got
safe with him, even
chills.
as a kid. The fact that any we haven't really gotten flashbacks of her with Jeremiah. I think we've maybe gotten two total in the 3 seasons,
Yeah.
and the only ones we've ever gotten were of him being forced to be there with her, or him being an asshole to her. Like like with the bike when what did Conrad do when they were young and she couldn't keep up because she had training wheels on her bike? He gave her his and he sat and walked the rest of the way. And what did Jeremiah and Steven say? Just leave her, Conrad. But no, he didn't. And her inner child her child has always been safe with Conrad. And so I think that makes a big part of like when you feel comfortable with someone, especially the right someone, your inner child does too. And we see that with them.
Okay.
I know I ate.
Right now, I can't say anything else because that's a mic drop, and I wanna hug you. I'm sending you a virtual hug right now because I
Mom.
think I think that's something that we all need to take from this episode. That's a truth bomb. I'm not even gonna dignify that with a comeback because that was too good. That was
I
too
and I
good.
gen when I genuinely didn't think about that until you asked that right now.
Wow,
Just like
the wisdom is like
the brain
pouring
is
out.
burning today.
Oh my God. So, have you ever dated and lost yourself? Because I know that I've lost myself over and over and over again. And now, like in the present time, I feel like whatever relationship, whether it's a friendship or whatever type of relationship, I feel like I'm in a place where I'm going to hold on to myself for dear life because I've lost myself so many times that I refuse to do that again. And I feel like I'm okay. Like I'm okay with who I am. I embrace all because we all have good and bad. We all have pretty and ugly. And I feel like I've lost myself so many times. Finding myself again in this stage is a gift, and I don't want to let it go. But you're younger, so have you lost yourself in any like a
Yeah.
friendship or you have?
Yeah,
What
I think naturally, especially at what 22 and below, like you do at least one at one point or another, whether it's in middle school, high school relationships and friendships and stuff like that, wanting
and
to fit into like a box so you can hang out with the right people or whatever. Like I think it's natural. We all do at some point.
yeah.
It's just I think it really comes down to your character and who you are at your core. Like I
And I
think that
but
determines if you can find yourself and how to bounce back and accept that you're not going to fit the boxes that other people want you to.
But I also think it's important to remind you and everyone else
Mm,
that when you become a mom, you lose yourself. When you become a wife, you lose yourself. Like when you take on I don't know, a new job role, there's a lot of times you lose yourself. I
mhm,
know I've done it. So we always have to check in with ourselves
yeah,
and remind ourselves of who we are. We are worthy, we are enough. And losing yourself, yes, it happens to everyone, but we have to definitely check in with ourselves.
yeah,
And if we forget, I have to bring this up. We have to make sure that we have the tribe and the besties. Taylor's
yes.
speech last night when she told Belly that she was losing herself and she was becoming codependent, to
I am
me,
so glad that she said that.
those are the friends we need.
And that was why I was glad that Steven called her out for it because Taylor has been messy at times in her life, but Taylor is her best friend because she calls her out. Taylor
100%.
is Taylor is the only best friend that we see frequently because of that. Because Taylor is messy herself, but she has no problem calling other people out. She acknowledges who other people are and makes sure that they check in with themselves. And I understand, you know, and she did that when Belly first told her about her being engaged. She was like, "Are you serious? Like, is something wrong with you? Are you pregnant?" Like,
But she wanted to support her, so
yeah, she wants to support her, but that's because she did essentially what Laurel did all within the matter of a few hours, which was go through that. I think you're insane. I don't think you should be doing this to you're going to do it anyways. I might as well just support you through it and make sure you have that support system that you're going to need. She did all of that while, you know, even though it took Laurel a while,
that's her
naturally,
mom.
she did. I mean, let's be honest. Laurel did not want Jeremiah to be her son-in-law. Like that was the last thing when Jeremiah said, "Oh, you've always wanted me as a son-in-law." No, she didn't. I the number of times that we have seen Laurel make a face when Jeremiah walks in
Well, I think
could be counted greatly.
most moms know. They
But
just know.
she doesn't do that with Conrad. She herself has always known that for her it was always Conrad. For Susanna, it was always Conrad. For even for Steven, it was always Conrad because
Yeah,
they knew who that boy, even though he had his issues, they've always known that it was always Conrad that was going to take care of her. Jeremiah never did.
yeah.
And
I
let me tell you, I got to say though, Conrad's better than me. Because when I tell you, if people were trying to come at my character like that, I would have
oh, I
given all of
know.
them. I would have been like, you
Taylor,
know what?
yeah, she was
How about
harsh.
you talk? I would have been like, especially to Steven, I would have been like, oh, really? How about you
Oh,
talk to your best friend, the same one that cheated on your sister, and you sitting here telling me that I'm a bad man? I'd be
yeah,
like, go check
that
yourself.
was that was harsh. But even what
Jeremiah,
Belly said to him on the beach was harsh. That was like,
yeah, but I think that's the issue is because, and oh, you know what? That's another good point. Belly knew that she shouldn't like. She wanted desperately to keep that boy's image alive in everyone else to make sure he looked good because
yeah.
she knew that the support that she was getting wasn't genuine, and she knew had she been honest and said Jeremiah cheated on me when he
Her
went to
mom doesn't
Cabo,
know yet, right?
nobody knows about that. The
Yeah,
only people that know are Taylor and Conrad. And
yeah.
obviously Redbird, like his Jeremiah's friends, because they didn't do anything about it. They didn't stop it. They
Well,
sat and allowed it to
there's not
happen.
many friends that would, no offense, but
No, I know.
that's
But
another
it's
episode.
but that's the thing is that like if she and that's another indicator I think of her not being completely sure about that person because the fact it was wrong given the fact that you didn't tell anybody. Conrad
Yeah,
wouldn't have known had he not overheard it.
that's true.
She told Taylor because obviously Taylor's her best friend. Like they were all in the same running in the same circle because it was a frat circle. So obviously, naturally, Taylor was gonna find out in some kind of way, shape, and or form. Um, but and I'm not sure if Annika knew her other friend that came with her,
I
but
don't think so.
I don't think so. But it also feels like it's kind of implied potentially. So I'm not really sure. But you would, I think normally to people, you tell them, especially people around you, like you would tell them, "Hey, this person, they fucked
Yeah.
up. They did X, Y, and Z, but they're working on it."
That's a
And
hard I
she
mean, it's hard because once you involve your friends and your family, like there's no chance. Like it's just really hard to fight
yeah,
against that because then you have 20 opinions and then if you do want to work it through because some people work through
yeah,
betrayal, like it just becomes impossible because you have all these opinions. So I think once you do that, you're like stepping over like this threshold that is very hard to come back from because
yeah, but
get
the
and
thing is, especially
granted,
when you look at in their like in the perspective of them, it's like they already what them getting engaged was solely because of what happened to Steven. That was the reason. Like it was solely because Steven got into that accident and like
life is
he
too
almost
short.
died. Yeah, life is too short. I suddenly realized I want to be with you for the rest of my life. I think it was all out of just that momentary fear. not because they were actually thinking properly about it. Because had that not happened to Steven, she wouldn't have gotten back together with him. I don't think. Not now, not right now at least. It would have taken a lot more.
So I don't want to forget to bring
And
this
again,
up.
he wasn't planning on telling her.
Granted, but I want to talk about these two different characters, like because they exist in real life. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
Conrad. I don't know if Conrad does, but um, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
He's pretty flawed. He's not a perfect character.
Conrad would be a rare find.
Yeah, he's very
He's
loyal.
the Conrads exist. They're just very, very, very rare.
So I want to talk about soul food versus soul drain. How do you know
Mm,
the difference? So to me, soul food
elaborate.
is that person, and it could be a friend, it could be a lover, partner, even a family member. Soul food, these are the people that feed into you, like that give you energy, that you're around them and you feel good and you walk away, you're like, and you
Hmm.
feel like, like life back in you. And then the soul drain, we all know who those are, the vampires, the
Yeah.
energy vampires, and those completely drain you and leave you exhausted and just like, I can't do this anymore type of thing.
Hmm.
Like, do you clearly know the difference? I didn't when I was younger. Now I do. That's because I've
I think
lived through
so.
it. You do?
I think so. I think sometimes though, the what do you call it? Is soul food and what?
Soul
Soul.
food versus soul drain.
Okay, I think the soul drainers sometimes, especially if you come across the right one, they will hide themselves from you
Oh, damn, that's good.
until
Yeah.
they will hide themselves from you, and then
Yeah.
you won't realize it until months later that damn, why do I feel so like drained whenever I'm around this person? And then it hits you like, damn, this
Yeah.
person, they just have really negative energy. I know it happened to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you
know.
know,
I know.
I know it
Been
happened
there,
to
done
me.
that, seen it.
And it wasn't until they're like that person's energy was just so bad that I literally physically like I almost passed out. That's how bad it
Well,
was.
well, you know about what happened to me. I completely like fell apart. Like,
Yeah, I know. But like and that's the thing is that like those are extreme examples I think of like when
yeah.
it takes you a long
There
time
are
to
more
realize.
subtle
Yeah,
cases
but
for
there
sure.
are definitely ones that it's like okay, you kind of just realize it maybe off the bat or maybe after a couple days you're like this person's energy is like just it's not meshing well with me. Like I need to remove myself from this situation
Or
completely.
sometimes it's just that person who you're like, "Hey, how are you?" Oh, life sucks. And it's
And
always
those are the you know the
yeah,
common ones. Those are the most the common
obvious.
finds,
Yeah.
the ones you might see. It's like every other person on the street, maybe every other person at your job or
If you live in the
in
city,
the
that's
environment.
like every other
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, like
So,
it's in some environments, that's just how people are naturally there. And then
yeah.
you have the very rare finds in those environments of people who are soul food, who, those are the little rays of sunshine that are like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay. Like maybe today's not the greatest day, but it can be. We could turn it around.
And
We can
if
make it a
not
lot better.
tomorrow,
Yeah, like those are like the nice like the good ones in that sense. Like dare I say I almost want to call those the Amaya papayas of the world.
oh God, no, 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 no. Anyway, let's talk about the peach scene. I can't do it. Let's talk about that peach scene. Soft.
Child.
Wait, hold on. Soft, intimate, nourishing. It was just like yum. And then,
That whole episode.
but then with Jared, like that was it. It just, woo, it just
You
filled
know,
your cup. But then
it's
with
also the cinematic choices that they made for that scene
oh,
too.
100%.
Like
What?
it's because we saw it from Conrad's perspective that it was very different. It was everything was brighter, it was golden, it felt youthful. And then you got like everything's very cold when we're coming from
Ooh, just got
the other party.
chills. But then you have Jeremiah that's constantly trying to fill his emotional hunger. it's literally like day and night. Talk about soul drain and soul food.
Mhm.
So what would you say are the two, let's say two, because there's a lot of signs, but let's
Mhm.
say two biggest signs in a relationship that you would say feed your spirit. They make you feel like, nourished and they make you feel good.
Um, I'm only thinking about the show right now. Um, Definitely, okay, you know what? Yeah, and this pertains, I think, to all three individuals as well, but communication and
Mm.
how you communicate and how you interpret that communication. Like, if you're capable of, even if I'm not communicating the way that I want to, can you read me well enough to like know, okay, I know it might be hard for her to say what she's trying to say, but like how can I don't know if I'm making sense. But like
I think communication is
yeah,
definitely
just
a big one.
communication like and being able to and understanding I think like love languages for
Oh,
me.
you just
They're very
that was telepathy right there. Because I was gonna say I was
yeah,
gonna say the second one is knowing each other's love language, because I think it's not enough for you to know that person's love language. They should know yours, because
and
that's its own language.
it's also being able to bend a little bit and learn how to work with that person's love language because you might your love language might be different from mine, but it's knowing how to give a little bit and learn to love them with their love language as well. Like because you might have somebody what are the ones that usually um clash a bit? Um
Wait, acts of service
yeah.
and what's the other one? The
Um
gifts. What is it?
Gift giving? No,
Yeah,
well, oh
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. Yeah, because acts of service doesn't
To
usually
me,
tend to be
those are
gifts.
two different ones.
Yeah, and
Very
those for
different.
when you have two people that one's acts of service and one is gift giving, those two usually clash a
or
lot.
or even acts of service, and the other one
And
where when you oh my god, when you
words of
say,
affirmation?
yes, words of
Yes,
affirmation, that
right?
can
I think
also
that's it.
clash.
Those clash a lot. And when you have two people, when you have people in a relationship who the one has one and the other one has the other, you
Yeah,
have to learn how to work with them. Especially if you
100%.
want a lasting relationship, you have to learn how to be comfortable with
Yeah,
providing words of affirmation, telling them I'm proud of you, telling them like you're doing a good job, telling them
even telling them I love
I
you. You
love
know,
you,
there's
I care
people
for
that
you.
will not say I love you.
No,
They
I
will
know.
not say I love
But
you.
then for somebody who's acts of service, and I think it's usually people with that are acts of service, they struggle a lot with that with like the words of affirmation.
Yeah.
That I have noticed a lot. If you are someone who is words of affirmation, you have to learn how to love them in a way that also makes sense. Because and I think that becomes I think nowadays it's actually a lot more of a conversation now
Yeah, for
that
sure. There's
that's
a
more
book.
prevalent. Oh, is it really?
Oh, 100%. That's how I learned about love languages.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I actually wrote an article about that. DM me if you want the name of the book. But there is a book
Yes.
about that. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
I didn't know
really good
that.
book. And
But
actually, I was with someone for a really long time. In the first year we were together, he read that book, and I loved that he read the book. Yeah.
oh,
And we discussed it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I I think yeah, like I think that's a big thing is it's learning the
I
person you're
love
with,
that.
learning
Yeah.
and understanding who you're with. What is it? What's the
Love
name of it?
language.
Love language. Thank you.
But
Yes.
I think that you're right. It goes hand in hand with communication. And if you
Hmm.
have those two things, like, you could feed me all day long. Like, that's it
Because
makes
then
you feel
everything trickles
seen.
from there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yes. It makes you feel seen and it makes you feel
Yeah.
heard and understood. And if
I
you
love
don't
it.
have that, like and that kind of goes with or I guess maybe yeah, like that was what I was trying to say earlier with like the communication part. It's like if I'm struggling to communicate that, like and I just
Yeah.
want to be seen, but I don't know how to like how to verbalize that in that moment. It's understanding me enough to know at least. maybe not what I need in that moment since I don't know how to communicate that, but knowing how to help me do that. Knowing how
Yeah,
to create a safe space that where I feel like I can figure out the words to tell you what I need.
a
Because
hundred
if
percent.
you can't do that, if I feel uncomfortable talking to you, we ain't never getting past the talking stage at that point. It could be a year-long relationship and we still ain't getting past the talking stage. Like
Even if you have the physical aspect, like that'll wear off for sure. For sure. I
when you're old and
absolutely.
wrinkly don't got stamina for life.
Okay,
What
moving
what else
on.
do you have?
Oh, damn it.
I'm just saying, like
You're being
at some
realistic. I
point,
get it.
no, yeah, at some point in life, like
I know.
you're not gonna be able to move the way that you used to when you're 20. So what are you gonna be stuck with? Communication. And if you can't talk to the person you're with, you're gonna be shit out of luck.
So I want to talk about a little bit about Jeremiah, right? One of the things I think that we do is we get into this comfort zone that keeps us stuck. It happens all the time to millions of people. And it can happen at some stages and you could grow out of them and get stuck again.
Hmm.
So Jeremiah's love feels familiar, easy, and I don't hate me for this, but it feels like a warm blanket, like a really old blanket that you know you should have gotten rid of years ago. Kind of like
Hmm.
that.
Pretty much.
Have you ever stayed with someone not because they were right, but because it felt easier than starting over? And I think that,
Absolutely.
oh, damn, that was quick. Ooh.
Respectfully, but yeah, absolutely. But again, that comes back to like when you're in a healthy relationship and a healthy place in your life, I think it's very natural. Like at least correct me if I'm wrong, I guess. But like I think it's very natural to do self-reflection and look back at like your previous relationships and
Yeah.
realize, "Oh, damn, I wasn't as happy as I claimed I was or I didn't like this person as much as I thought I did in that moment or like I was probably with this person longer than I should have been." Like I think it's very natural and I think it's very healthy to do that. And I think
So
it's healthy every once in a while to like do those debriefs
reflect.
even if it's with your best friend and be like, girl, I've been thinking and I realized like I was probably in these relationships much longer than I should have been. And I see that now because I'm in such a I see that now because I'm in a healthier relationship, a healthier spot. Like I feel more confident with myself to be honest about that. And I think that's very natural.
Okay. Do
Maybe
you
not
think
everybody feels
that,
that way, but
do you think, oh, I been there, done that. Oh, I can't, I could write a book on that one. But do you
you
do you
should.
think do you think that Belly stayed with Jeremiah out of fear or just she was comfortable or guilt or she didn't want to hurt him or all of the
I
above?
I actually think it was out of grief.
Ooh. Damn, you
I
dropping gems today.
I No, but yeah, no, and I think it goes for that entire relationship. It's not even just her. I think it's him as well. I think they stayed with each other out of grief because when they got together, it was not that long after the death of Susanna. So everybody was grieving at that point. It's
Yeah.
why her and Conrad broke up because he was grieving his mom prior to her dying.
In a different way,
And
because we all grieved in different ways.
yeah, and that's the thing is that all of their grief was very different and it created a clusterfuck of emotions that shouldn't even, it created situations that shouldn't even have happened in the first place. And it's why, we call him like the safety blanket or her relationship with him, it's a safety blanket, but it's because it was created out of grief. So for Jeremiah, he calls her, what he needs in order to survive because she created that when they got together during the time of him grieving.
Yeah.
He needed something to put all his energy into so that he didn't sit and grieve his mom the way that he should have. And it's the same thing with her. She should have taken the time to sit and grieve Susanna. We they might hate on Conrad for the fact that he disappeared and everything, But Conrad took that time. He started grieving his
For
mom
him, yeah.
when he was going to college because he knew he couldn't be there all the time for her. So he had to start grieving her then. And it got, of course, it probably got worse. We actually haven't, I don't even think we've really seen what his grief looked like after his mom died. It's very much, minus the panic attacks and stuff like that. But those technically started prior to her dying. So
Yeah.
we're seeing grief manifest as grand whoa grief
Manif
manifests itself in different forms in these different people. And I think
I love
that's really
that.
what they kind of come down
Wow.
to.
Damn, you dropping gems today. So
Yeah.
since you're dropping all these gems, I have a surprise question for you as we
Oh,
wrap up the interview. Are you ready?
okay.
Conrad. Okay. So people, there's different types of love, right? Conrad to me is deep, secure love. Jeremiah is chaos, quick highs, selfish. What kinds of love have you, or I don't know, love like, have you or relationships have you chosen in the past, and and looking back, what did it reveal about you?
Damn, this is one you gotta sit and think about for a while. Um,
Okay, I'll start that way you can think.
yeah, because I don't think I've ever like sat and categorized them.
Well, you can use
I
present. You can use the present
no, I know, but like even then, like I
because to me that would be deep, secure love. But
yeah.
I believe, oh
Damn.
man, this is a hard question, and I and
See,
I
not
wrote
look at
it.
you stumping
Wait,
yourself.
and I wrote it. My light went out. Oh, damn it. Okay.
Jeez.
Uh, okay. So I would say many times I chose in my past Jeremiah kind of love. That chaos, quick high, selfish love. For sure, 100%. And I think what it revealed about me was that I was I so badly wanted to be liked, loved, that I put someone else ahead of me. Um, I put myself last because I didn't think I was worthy. I do believe that. Um, it was just not good, not the good type of love. Not it wasn't even love. It was more like
I
chaos.
think to an extent we all choose some kind of version of Jeremiah kind of love, and in different ways. Even if it's not the entirety of Jeremiah, like the Jeremiah kind of love, you choose i- ones that are bits and pieces of that relationship, or Jeremiah kind of relationships, maybe a lot of, but like Jeremiah kind of relationships, and that all have bits and pieces of what we see Jeremiah and Belly to be. Like, the ones like earlier that you mentioned, where you're probably with somebody longer than you should be just because like you feel comfortable and you don't want to
Yeah.
start over. But then you also have ones that it's like, I don't think I ever really liked you the way that I thought I did, but like I convinced myself that I did so that I wasn't open and honest with myself about like the fact that I didn't really like you like
And
that.
and I have to tell you, because we're all about truth here. One of the hardest things that I've realized that it's just hard for us to do is to be honest, not only with other people. I think
With
it's
ourselves.
with ourselves, 100%.
It
And
is.
and as I've gotten older and I've kind of thrown myself into the platform, and I just I think we owe it to ourselves. Never mind other people, but we owe it to ourselves to be as honest as we possibly can, cuz I feel like the more honest you can, the closer you can get to a place of joy, a place of like happiness. But you can't
Mhm.
have that if you're lying to yourself. There's
I
no
think that
way.
I think the thing is though is that we have a tendency to not want to be honest with ourselves because once you're honest with yourself, it
It's
becomes
like
real.
you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah, it becomes real. Like you
Yeah.
put what is it, a face to a name essentially.
Yeah.
And like at that point, once you put the face to a name, you can't forget it. So it's like, do I really want to put myself through the fact that I have to be honest with myself and like accept that I wasn't feeling this way or I actually was feeling this way and I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to like hurt myself or hurt other people's feelings. Like it's like looking at somebody and being like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, I don't actually like you the way that I do, or I thought I did. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to say it out either. Cause then you sit there looking at yourself like, damn, I just lied to myself for like a year. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So it's like
Well,
I don't want to sit and have to admit it in the in the most like I feel like it's a shallow way of saying it, but I feel it's the one thing, especially I think any of us, it
drop
doesn't
your
have to
last
be.
bomb. What is it?
It's kind of like that way of when you break up with somebody and then you look back at it a few months later and you're like, damn, that's what I was crying over.
God.
That's why I said it's like the roughest way to say it, but it's the most true because it doesn't matter who you are. We have all experienced that at one point of being like, I was crying over you. Why? I felt hurt over you.
We've all been there though.
Yeah, exactly. But
But
that's why I say it like that because it's like it's the one thing that we've all been able to admit at some point, and then you girl, once you admit it, then you're like, girl,
I know.
you should have looked back at yourself a long time ago to
I
really
I
evaluate.
I know there's plenty of people watching who understand exactly where you're coming from because I know I do, and
We all do.
I know we are not the only ones. But I'm gonna leave it here because I think what we're gonna do is come back and wrap it up. How many more weeks? No.
The
Uh,
17th, I believe, is the last one.
Okay, loves.
I'm delusional enough to believe that that's the episode that we're finally gonna get them together.
All right. Fingers crossed. All right, loves. We will be back in 3 weeks. If you have not started watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, you need to start
Please
today.
do.
And then come back and really watch this because I don't want, I'm going to have to put their spoilers here,
Yeah, there's a
obviously.
lot of them.
But we'll be back in 3 weeks to wrap up one of our absolute favorite shows of the summer. It
I
is the
forgot to ask you
summer.
something.
Oh, what?
I was
What?
gonna ask you what are your opinions on Staler? Staler's another interesting one to talk
Okay,
about
we
here.
can come back to that because that's a whole yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But we will be back in 3 weeks. And just remember, sometimes the most dangerous love is the one that asks you to become someone you're not. But the most powerful love, it mirrors back the version that you forgot existed. Real love
Damn,
does
E.
not, thank you. Real love does not ask you to shrink to stay. So, loves, take that with you this weekend, and we'll be back in 3 weeks. Thanks, Avani B.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love having you. Okay, guys, love you. Talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.